How's it going, everyone? Got the People's Champion here, Tequila Sunset, bringing Cetra the Imperishable, the one true king of Nehekara, up against Sipa, bringing Luther Harkon for the Vampire Coast. No idea why the Vampire Coast are in Nehekara, probably just to try to plunder Tomb King pyramids and steal their artifacts, but it's not going to happen. Cetra is here to stop him, and he's brought his big old kitty with him this time. Hardly ever see this since Warhammer 2, see this mount, just because most large single entities from Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 1, they didn't scale well to the Ultra change, unit size change. But here he is on the kitty. They got a price decrease in the patch 5.1 from 100 gold decrease, and their splash attacks got reduced, rather like how many entities they target. So from 7 to 5, that means they'll hit 5 targets instead of 7, meaning the worst thing's damage will be dispersed less, aka killing more targets. And not only that, they got collision attacks. So now you'll see in more videos other than mine, if say Cetra, I don't know, attacks this depth guard or these pirate deckhand mobs by running through these guys, the collision damage will hit these guys and do a tremendous amounts of damage, or rather do some good solid damage to these guys through collision damage only, while the Cameroon's War Sphinx is trying to get to this one. Essentially is what it means. But for Cetra, we do have Wrath of Petra, Blessed Blade of Petra, Incantation of Cursed Blades, and Incantation of Vengeance. Plus Restless Dead for that healing. And Unyielding Will, can't forget about that for those melee stat increases. Skirmishing side, we do have Horse Archers and Carrion. Skeleton Spearmen as well for the front line. Nekahar Horsemen on both flanks. Do also have the Eyes of the Desert, Sepulchral Stalker ROR. As you know, as I said before many times, one of the best ROR units, one of the best units in general on the King's roster. They didn't get any changes, but they don't need any. They're fantastic and always will be. And assumably, they will do great here as well. Skeleton Archers for the backline, they got a cost increase about 25 each. So nice to be able to fit them in now. Skeleton Chariots as well. Skeleton Chariots getting, I think Chariots in general got like collision attacks or something like that, or some of their collisions got tweaked, and they should theoretically do better, but I've heard some not great information about that, as in some have said it didn't change anything, etc. But we'll see how it goes. Depth Guard will be the part of the infantry for the Vampire Coast, including deckhand mobs, of course. And we do have good old Luther Harkon. Let's go over his change real quick. So, on the Deathstreak Terrorgeist, he does have bonus versus large now, bonus of 25. That's actually for just the Deathstreak Terrorgeist, but obviously it benefits him as it's his mount. And he also got about a 500 HP increase, which is pretty substantial. And he got a price decrease, I believe, maybe. I don't think so, actually. Instead, he got some melee stat increases, melee attack and melee defense. The melee attack not as substantial as the defense. He went from 42 to 47 for melee defense, which helps a lot as a duelist character that Luther Harkon is. And not only that, his weapon strengths got increased, base and AP. It's pretty substantial there, specifically in the AP part. Splash attacks also got tweaked, reduced amount of entities that get hit by those splash attacks, and knockback force multiplier got changed as well. So units get knocked back more by his attacks. But aside from that, that's all for Luther Harkon. Hopefully he does well here. He still has that wonderful disrupted mechanic on his missile strength, which is okay. I mean, I said wonderful, but actually it's okay. It's minus 10 Phys Res, and it does silence. The best part of it is the silence part. The Phys Res, unimportant. The silence part, stopping targets from using their abilities, incredible. And it also has some good AP values at 156 with 52 base. But another thing that changed for the Vampire Coast roster, we do have the Rotting Prometheans. The Rotting Promethean, all variants got changed in the sense that they now have charge defense versus large. Before they couldn't brace, but now they can brace, and now their charge defense works. And not only that, they got added charge defense versus large. So that's pretty great for them. They were already hard to get rid of and were good road blockers for Cav, etc. So now they're going to be even better at that job. And not only that, they got cost increases all across the board. Plus, they got weapon damage increases, AP, and base. So they're even more fantastic than they were before. I'm not sure where they got those buffs, but thanks to CA anyways. Let's get back into the slow-mo. Vampire Fleet Captain will be the spellcaster for the Vampire Coast. We do have Taunt, Invocation, and Gaze of Nagash, plus Power Stone. Let me actually change the music down real quick. Alright, just needed to edit that back in. The music was a little bit loud. But Deckhand mobs, as I said, will be the front line along with Depth Guard and Animated Hulks. Depth Guard should theoretically do well here. I mean, it's Tomb King's infantry, so they theoretically should get mulched by the anti-infantry of the Depth Guard. Fantastic weapon strength. Right off the bat, we're going to see a Gaze of Nagash hitting Cetra, and it does a pretty decent chunk of damage there. Nice. I'm not sure, probably 1,000 to or so damage. I'm not sure. I can't count American, you know how it is. But right off the bat, we are going to get the Incantation of Vengeance hitting those Depth Guard and do fantastic damage, plus the charge in there from Cetra. That rear charge, plus the anti-infantry plus bonus versus infantry, or rather the anti-infantry plus armor piercing does wonders into the Depth Guard. Death Shriek jumps down, or Luther jumps down on the Skeleton Archers, but turns around immediately and goes after Cetra. The Skeleton Archers skirmishing, shooting at the backs of the infantry for the Empire Coast. We have the Carrion floating up above trying to find a spot. And right up ahead, we're going to see the Vampire Fleet Captain running on the Spearmen, disrupt their charge. Skeleton Chariots are going to get a charge here on the Deckhand mob, do okay damage. Skeleton Spearmen crumbling already, no surprise there. Depth Guard having a tough time. They're already into crumbling as well, or were. Now we're back into critical binding. Cetra fighting Luther Harkon at the moment, who is hit by Blade of Patral is popped, giving him that blinded flaming attack and magical attacks. Flaming obviously going to do well into Luther Harkon considering he has regen. They do have that weakness to fire damage of plus 20%. And that Blessed Blade providing that blinded effect, reducing his melee stats to 21 and 23. So he's going to want to get out of here. This is not a fight he wants to take. Cetra, I typically wouldn't use him as a duelist on the kitty, but he's doing great here, obviously. Typically, I just find him better as an anti-infantry on those Cameron Windswings because of the animations and that bonus versus infantry. But we do see the Incantation of Cursed Blades overcasted, giving that bonus versus large of plus 16 for 2 extra winds of magic, which is pretty nice. It's going to help out that duel a lot. And as you can see, Luther Harkon takes another big hit. This is a really nasty duel here for Luther. And what looked like a pretty bad situation there with Cetra taking so much early damage has turned around, and Luther's taking an absolute beating. He might go into crumbling status here, is he? He's down to diminish, but he's going to get away. Luckily, Eyes of the Desert back up and active again after being charged down by the Rotten Prometheans, but actually they're now being attacked again by one of the models, so those guys need to be pulled out. Luther Harkon being shot by Skeleton Archers, who are being hit in the back by Animated Hulks, just being set on guard mode and forced to shoot. Depth Guard trying to mulch through the Tomb Guard infantry, but there's just so much stuff here, including the Skeleton Horse Archers and the Nekar Horsemen. Again, the Eyes of the Desert definitely need to be pulled back, but Tequila Sunset's micro is a bit stressed at the moment. Skeleton Chariots, how did they do? Did they get destroyed already? They're still one up about. It's got 16 kills, 342 value, doing okay. Other one probably got, here we go. Other one is coming back around, going to get a charge here on these Deckhand mobs. Going to do okay. It was fairly limp there. But yeah, Animated Hulks disrupting the back line. We do have another overcasted, or rather another base cast of the Incantation of Vengeance hitting those Depth Guard, and going to do okay. Going to probably mostly just there to finish them off because they are regenerating health with the Hunger ability. Cetra gets attacked again by Luther. That's a very brave choice, but I guess Sipa is trying to 2v1 Cetra at the moment with the Deckhand mob, or rather the Fleet Captain and Luther, but Cetra is going to pull out of that engagement as he doesn't want a 2v1, even though he's doing better into Luther at the moment. But yeah, he's low on HP at the moment, with down to 3,200. Though every time he casts, he does get a little bit of regen with that Riskless Dead. So, it does help. Or does it actually heal him as well? I'm not sure. Desperate Terrorite Breath hitting, or rather going for him, but the Cameron War Sphinx, the animation where he jumps across a space, that one right there saved him, and from that damage was just pretty incredible. That's very lucky for Tequila. Luther going in for another freaking charger, but he decides not to. Sipa pulling Luther Harkon back, realizing that those Eyes of the Desert are up and shooting again, and realizing that's a terrible freaking idea. Wet Noodle contest on the right hand flank. What is this? A taunt hitting Cetra, going to reduce his melee stats by minus 24 melee defense, reduces his armor and his speed. So he's down to 14 melee defense at the moment, which is prime material right there for Luther Harkon to get an engagement with him. But he's instead going to get charged down by Cetra himself, who's popped the Blade of Petra. Again, those flame attacks and blinded, and Luther Harkon almost, is he going to escape again without going into the crumbling? My god, he's drained again. He escapes undrained, not going into the crumbling, and yeah, just manages to escape with 9 freaking leadership, going back up to 17. He's beginning to regen again, but wow, Luther just freaking clutching it out there. But now the fleet captain is trying to chase down Cetra and to pay him back. Hornswoggle popped and trying to catch him with that Hornswoggle speed debuff. But if Tequila's careful there, he might be able to pull him out and save the day. Though the Carrion are bogging down the fleet captain, trying to stop him from getting on Cetra. Gunnery mobs still up and about. They still have quite a bit of ammunition left. They can shoot those shots into the Eyes of the Desert if they get pulled over. And they seem like they too are walking over at the moment. Tomb King's infantry can come over and help out as well. Skeleton archers are also still shooting at Luther Harkon, making it very hard for him to have to be able to stay in one place. He's having to force Sipa to move around Luther. Incantation of Vengeance hitting that random Promethean, going to do a little bit of damage there and slow them down, and give the infantry and the horsemen time to bog them down. Going to speed up a little bit here as Eyes of the Desert get some shots in, doing some decent work into the Flame Fleet Captain, but now they're going to turn their attention toward Luther, trying to screen him out, making sure he doesn't get a charge in on Cetra. Another taunt, I believe, or Hornswoggle, trying to catch Cetra out with the Flame Fleet Captain, but it's just not happening. Roger Prometheans are having a tough time crumbling. They get hit with an Invocation, but as well as an Incantation of Vengeance, trying to negate some of that healing there. Cetra getting caught out there by the Robert Prometheans. If Tequila is able to get him out here, Hornswoggle slowing him down. He's down to 1100 HP here. Don't tell me he goes into crumbling. Please don't tell me he goes into crumbling. If he goes into crumbling, he can give Vampire Coast there a win, even with the Eyes of the Desert still as high HP as they are. Though, I don't know. Maybe they could clutch it out even if Cetra dies. I think that's the case, especially with all this infantry here. Yeah, I think even if Cetra dies here, Tomb Kings will clutch it out. Vampire Fleet Captain is giving it a try, though, trying to chase him down. Cetra down to 874 HP. And Luther Harkon jumps in there because he has no other choice, really. Even if he jumps down on Cetra, he's going to get shot by the Eyes of the Desert. Though at that point, he'd be shooting at like max range, so it'd be a little less accurate, but it doesn't matter anyways. It is going to the Tomb Kings as Luther Harkon will be falling here. 104 HP, 29, and he's now dead. Fleet Captain going to try to charge down those Eyes of the Desert, but yeah, Sipa will bow out, and it will go to the main man, Tequila Sunset, with the War Sphinx. Man, oh man. Bringing Cetra on the War Sphinx and still managing to clutch it out, and solidify a win there. That's awesome. Again, People's Champion, ladies and gentlemen. 4163 on Cetra. He did so much work for Petra there. Petra has no other honored soldier like Cetra. 4163, just again beating down on Luther most of the time, getting some fantastic value there on the depth guard with those incantations of vengeance, and just some wonderful work all around. Did some great stuff. I'd love to see a Cetra win. Hell yes. 397, 160. You definitely will see me bowing down to Cetra. It's just a given. That is the true king right there. 234, 332, yeah, infantry, not going to do so great. Chariots, they're alright. I mean, they're mostly just running through Vampire Coast chaff, so it's not really a great showcase for them. But, you know, typically bringing chariots, like sailors and chariots, kind of is a waste of gold and can typically be a reason why you lose. But, I mean, here, they weren't terrible, so... Neka Horsemen did their jobs. Everything else did fine. Again, probably the only other thing on this roster or in this army and generally on the roster that's going to be supplying most of your value is these freaking Eyes of the Desert. They just did incredible work. 2490 screening out Luther Harkon, getting some good shots on the Rising Prometheans and animated Hulks. Just did good as usual. I mean, fantastic, all around. You guys know how much I love it. Always got to bring those guys on Team Kings. 1404 on Luther. Yeah, I don't think he picked his fight right here. Even as a duelist with that newly appointed stat line, I would have jumped in there on Citra, knowing that he brought the Blessed Blade of Vitra and incantation of that incantation, which I forgot what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, theoretically, it would still be cool to see how Luther Harkon does damage output value against Citra. So, always worth testing. I'm not sure if this isn't a good enough match to decide whether or not he's worth bringing in future matches. So, hopefully, I see him again more. But it definitely wasn't that great of a showcase for him. He had a tough time. I wish his magical items would were better. That's just straight out. Like, to me, his stats were fine before. Obviously, it's better that he got a HP increase and whatnot, considering, again, the change from large to ultra, from Warhammer 2 to Warhammer 3. It was definitely needed, but I think as my biggest issue with him was his items just suck in general and aren't really worth ever bringing. So why ever bring him when you could just bring any other caster or lord which has better items and is more valuable? So, he's still cool though. I love this deranged madman. I can't even call Luther Harkon egotistical. He's just deranged and such a wonderful character. Same with Cetra. But yeah, cool to see them both. 1063 on the fleet captain. Definitely, I think I should have hopefully. I kind of wish I saw more Gazes of Nagashes, because that first one did a fantastic work against Cetra. But I guess, gotta find that right time, gotta find that right angle to do it, and catch that right moment to do so. But I definitely think that could have provided a lot of value at actually finishing off Cetra. But, you gotta heal up your valuable units like the Depth Guard and Rotten Prometheans. Rotten Prometheans did great, and when Hulks did, But yeah, Depth Guard, they did their job, even after taking so much work there from the Team King side. Gardening Mob did fantastic, no surprise there. They're your Sepulchral Stalkers. They're fantastic all around. Always going to output great value if you take care of them. And yeah, solid match. Catch you guys next time with another one. Check out Tequila Sunset's channel. It will be posted in the comments. And hop in on Hemo Boys Discord and play some Vermin yourself. Catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.